Hello and welcome to Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC, a weekly podcast and YouTube channel discussing everything Wrexham from the point of view of long-term fans and brand new fans like my wife. So sit back, put your feet up, relax and let's get stuck in. Hello and welcome to episode 15 of Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC. Bit of a whirlwind. We've just come straight from the Oldham game.
Whew.
Bang, straight in. Let's get it done. Okay, so a bit of news from this week just to start us off. So we've got quite a few people sort of out injured at the moment. Or have we? Oh, because in midweek we had an in-house friendly. So well, some of the youth team were involved as well. And in that game, we had Rob Langton played the full game. It was reduced to 70 minutes. Langton played the full 70. We had Reece Johnson playing. He played an hour. Ryan Austin, who you probably don't even know who Ryan Austin is. Young lad, defender. He even sort of precedes Phil Parkinson. So he got injured. I think he's only like 18 or 19. He's young defender. He's sort of the same sort of crop as Max Cleworth.
Okay. So
he got his professional contract, I think, just after Max. Been injured for about 18 months. Had a knee injury, so he's been out for about 18 months, something like that. He played an hour, and Lennon played 45 minutes. So all very positive.
Yes.
We had Darren get in touch this week. He said, do any of these players, in our opinion, come straight back into the team? Well, I had a little bit of a chat with Darren and I said, for me, no. I think they're all quite long-term-ish injuries that have been out.
Yeah.
And for me, you don't just thrust them straight back into the team.
Like Elliot Lee. You didn't start him off, did he, for a while? Was he injured or something?
Yeah, that was more his fitness, really, when he first came. But yeah, I think you just got to ease him back in. The behind closed doors friendly they had, but all really good positive news from that.
He was actually there today training, Langton.
Yeah, he was. He was on the bench today, actually. We'll talk about that in a minute. So that was really good. So yeah, to answer your question, Darren, no, I don't think you sort of thrust them straight back in.
No.
I think I was going to talk about this a bit later, but we've talked about sort of the goalkeeping position before, and we've talked about Langton, and I said, when he's fit, I'd like to see him come back into the team.
I would too.
Can you take Howard out of the team at the moment?
Do you know what? We've had 11 games at home now.
Unbeaten.
Yeah. He's doing all right.
Three clean sheets in a row. So it's hard, really. I don't think he's put foot wrong, really, in the last 3 games at least.
No.
I think that's quite a difficult one, really. I think I was all for it. I think I was very much, let's get Langton back in the team. He's the sort of person that I'd want between the sticks. But I just think it's quite hard to get rid of Howard at the moment. I think it would be a fair assumption that Parky would possibly, maybe a game or 2, might swap it. Would you swap goalies halfway through like you do players? No, we talked about this before, and I said you don't really do that. You don't, make subs. So I think you've just got to plump for one and go with that one. And I think with keepers usually, it's nice having a bit of competition for places, which we've got all over the team. But I think you pick your goalkeeper and you stick with him. So I think if we haven't seen Langton play by mid-December, I think the likelihood is Langton's going to be the backup.
But wasn't Howard brought in?
Yeah.
Because obviously Langton was injured.
He was, but I know what your question is here, but it depends what your long-term plan is.
Yeah.
So, is your long-term plan... I do apologise. Our dog is just going nuts here. What are you doing? Calm down. Right, it depends. Lost my flow now. It depends what your long-term plan is. Has he brought Howard in as that experienced goalkeeper from higher up the leagues to make him your number one?
Yeah.
And then when Leighton's fully back, is he just going to be the backup? I don't know. It's one of them. We'll have to wait and see with that one. So,
I personally would. I mean, I like what Howard's doing at the moment, but I would like, because I didn't get to see Leighton much last season.
No, you didn't.
I would like to see him and see what he's all about.
The other argument you've got is, has Howard really had that much to do in the last 3 games? Yeah, he's kept 3 clean sheets, but he hasn't really been tested that much, has he? Really? Do you know what I mean? So
no, I guess not. But
so it's one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see how that one goes anyway. So another one is in the news this week. So there's the Wrexham Football Club are supporting the North Wales Super Kids Toy Box appeal.
Yep.
For this Christmas. So what they're asking for is for brand new toys, aren't they? They're not asking for sort of cast-offs or things people have had. So boxed, brand new toys. The racecourse is going to be a drop-off point for this.
Yeah.
I will try and get some more information when we have it, but I believe the club shop's going to be the drop-off point for this. So if you've got, you want to donate some toys, it's basically for kids who, if we don't do something like this, that potentially they wouldn't have a Christmas and they wouldn't have any presents. So it's a great thing for the club to get behind. So I would, any brand new box toys, take them down there.
We'll be doing it.
We will definitely be doing that. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
One last little thing. So just before we go into we're in the Tuesday game. The main we're in the Maidenhead game.
Yes.
So before that, we talk about the game. So we mentioned we had a guy who listens to the podcast called Tal.
Mm-hmm.
Tal, he's from New Hampshire. I think he is originally from Washington, but he's lived all over the place, including he spent a little bit of time in the UK a few years ago, down by Ipswich.
Yep.
He was coming over to the UK. They went down to Ipswich, and he, because of listening to the podcast and the documentary, he wanted to come up and watch a game. We met him on Tuesday night, didn't we? Him and his daughter, Josie.
Yep.
She's thinking about coming to university over here, so they came over, and it was lovely to meet them. They were great people.
They were, yeah.
Really enjoyed having a drink with them, and they were lovely. And we got
a bonus.
We got a bonus one as well, didn't we? Because
we did.
They had met a lady called Suzanne, who was originally from Stuttgart. So she was German, and now she lives in Dallas, Texas. She'd come over. And just to watch a Wrexham game as well.
On her own as well, which is amazing.
And they bumped into each other. They were having a drink, so we met up with her, and they were all lovely. They were
really nice, really nice.
So
people.
it was a pleasure, and we quite enjoy meeting new people who listen to the podcast, and we're more than happy to, if there's anybody out there who's coming over to Wrexham to watch a game, and you want a little bit of a help sort of navigating around, we're your people.
Well, you are, because I'm rubbish with directions and stuff. So
yeah, we recommended some places to go for food. I recommended some places to go for food, and it was lovely to meet them. And we'll do that for anybody who wants to come over. We're more than happy to do that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Maidenhead.
So the game. What did you make of the game?
It was raining.
It was raining. Correct. 1 point.
Yes, it was a good game.
Yeah,
it was a good game.
You were into it, weren't you?
I see. I get into it.
Yeah,
and it's a bit worrying. And yeah, you
enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
See, I said to you before the game, because it was raining, I said, a bit of rain makes for a decent game.
I think it had a bit of a hindrance, if I'm honest.
Yeah, well, that's the problem, because that's why they water the pitch before the game, because it helps the ball zip about when you're passing a little bit more. Obviously, they didn't do that on Tuesday. They didn't need to. But I think it rained a little bit too much.
Yeah.
To be honest, our side, so we're in the Mold Road, on our side, it was quite waterlogged, to be honest.
Yeah.
People were shouting at Bryce Hosanna, going, take him on, run. The ball wasn't moving. He was trying to dribble it, and it was just getting stuck in the water. So, yeah, it wasn't great. And I think it definitely slowed the pace of the game down. I think we played well, although I just think it was it was hard to get any sort of rhythm and flow in the game.
Yeah.
For me, anyway. But you were proper into it. You were going, yes, it's great. It's a great game. And I was just sort of a bit, I think, I think with a little bit less rain, I think we'd have seen more goals. That's the only thing for me, I think.
Sometimes
really.
I do think that you're hard to please in a game. I said to you today at the Oldham game.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm singing along and clapping my hands and getting all kind of vocal and things like that. And you just sit there, all quiet. I was just, like, oh my God, get involved. Come on.
Yeah, I pick my moments because sometimes I don't know, I get a bit worried sometimes. So I have to I'm very focused on what's going on. And yeah, but we'll talk about the Oldham game in a minute. But were you worried at any point on Tuesday? Not at all.
No, I was a bit, no, I wasn't worried,
no.
but I was a bit, because the goalkeeper was very, very good.
He was amazing.
He was very, very good.
Yeah.
And he was so good that I think he put Mullen off when he went for his penalty.
He definitely
and obviously
did,
we all know that he missed his penalty, which I was like, I said to you, didn't I, when he was taking the penalty, I was like, this is going in, we're going to get another goal.
Yeah, you were an absolute jinx, you were. Because we were there waiting for the penalty, and you literally said, we might as well stand up now because we know he's going to score. And I looked at you and I was like, seriously, are you really saying that? And then as it turned out, so never say that ever again.
Well, he's known as the best penalty taker in the National League, but not on Tuesday.
Not on Tuesday.
Which I felt really bad. I felt sorry for him on Tuesday because,
Well, it was weird when they were lining up for the penalty. The keeper blatantly stood off centre, which it was. A keeper knows where the middle of the goal is. He hasn't done that by accident.
Yeah.
He's purposely lined up that way. So I think Mullen's gone, right, okay, I need to put it right in that corner because he's going to dart right across. So
but
he didn't, and it just put him off completely.
He played him like a kipper.
But he made some absolutely amazing saves, that goalkeeper.
He was a good goal.
I did a little bit.
What's his name?
I can't remember now. I researched him this week for about half an hour. About because he's French and anyway, yeah. So I researched him for quite a bit. One thing I can't remember is what his name was, but excellent. He was very good, and I think he very much kept them in the game. And I think the reason I asked if you were worried was that as the game went on, they didn't really produce much, did they? They had the odd little go here and there, but as the game went on, I was sort of like, oh God, because last season they scored late on and we drew 1-1.
Yes.
And that's where I'm talking about. I'm always a little bit worried because I always think back to other instances of when things have happened. So I'm always like, and I just had this horrible feeling that it was going to happen again.
Such a pessimist.
No, it's not that. It's not pessimism. It's experience. It's from what has happened, especially against teams not teams like this, against this team. Do you know what I mean? We took 1 point off them in 2 games last season. So we've already done better than that. We've only played them once. So, I always look back at the history and stuff like that. But
always look forward. Keep telling you this.
So Elliot Lee was man of the match. Was he your man of the match?
No.
No? Okay.
I think, and do you know what? And I think a lot of people agreed with what I've just said.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were a bit like, Elliot Lee man of the match. And a lot of people said Young.
Yeah.
Luke Young. And obviously, you know how much I appreciate Luke Young, and I think he's brilliant and all this. So I think Luke Young should have got man of the match.
I agree. For Tuesday, I thought Luke Young was excellent, and I think he probably deserved man of the match on Tuesday. I thought it was a little bit of I do think it was a bit of a strange one. Elliot Lee, he played well, but I'm not sure he was.
See, I learned something.
Yeah.
That apparently they choose the man of the match. Somebody told me this, and I can't remember who told me.
Yeah.
So every day's a school day. They said that the people who choose the man of the match.
Yeah.
Decide who they want on their wall or something like that. So it's all about. Yeah,
I think they get a shirt of the player that they decide is man of the match.
So
basically, that's I think. I'm not saying that's why Mullen gets it a lot, but probably a lot of people want Paul Mullen's shirt on their wall.
Or Ollie Palmer.
Yeah, so I think, maybe.
So yeah, so I never, whoever told me that, I'm going to have to go look through my messages and stuff, but whoever said that, told me that, thank you, because I didn't know that. I didn't realise.
No, well, we were always a bit dubious, weren't we, about are they even watching the game? But then
are they still watching the game? You don't know.
Well, they might not be. They might be just going, "Oh, we wouldn't mind his shirt." So what we'll do, we'll give him man of the match. So yeah, it's one of them really. We had a few injuries in the game as well.
Oh my god!
So we had so much time added on. I was working 6-2 the next day. We got home so late.
We did.
I think there was about God knows how many minutes in the first half. There was a load of minutes added on at the end of the second half. The second half didn't start till really late because of all the time added on in the first half. So we had, in the wars, who did we have? We had Tozer, where he was sporting a nice headband after.
Palmer.
Ollie had a nice little headband after that. Tunnicliffe, he went off injured, didn't he? Did we have anyone else? Someone else went off injured. Oh, Jordan Davis. He had a little bit of a leg pull.
A little bit of a twinge.
A little bit of a twinge. Yeah. So, yeah, it was but I think that's very much down to the weather again. It's the weather sort of, it's not great for injuries and players pulling up. I know the two head injuries, it's not like you could have done about that. I mean, but
it did look a bit worrying when Palmer went down, though, to be fair.
Yeah, he was down for a while, wasn't he?
He was down for a while.
Whereas when Ben went down, they rushed him down the tunnel just to stitch him up.
He ran down the tunnel, so it wasn't.
He went for about 5 or 6 minutes, didn't he, to get stitched up.
Yeah.
And then he came back out. Weirdly, we scored the goal when we were down to 10 men, didn't we? So yeah, it was a bit of an odd one, but for the 5 minutes that we were down to 10 men in the whole of the game, that's when we decided to score the goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was a strange game for me. I don't like heavy rain during the game. I think it spoils it a little bit. And I was cold. I was freezing on Tuesday.
Did you have your heat pads on?
I didn't have my little feet warmers on. That's the thing, you see.
There you go. So, that was your big mistake, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, yeah, well.
You need to dig your hat out for the next few games. Yeah, it's getting warmer, colder now.
It is definitely getting colder. So, we need to start wrapping up a little bit more, don't we?
I do wrap up every single time we go.
You do, even in the summer.
Yeah.
So, we mentioned last week. So, obviously, that was the last league game we played. And we had FA Cup weekend this week. We did mention last week we were going to have a little bit of a discussion about Notts County. So to fulfil that promise to everybody, we'll have a little bit of a chat.
Do we have to?
Yes, yeah, we do. I think it's important to have a little bit of a chat about them. I know we're not playing them anytime soon, but I think it's worth just having a little bit of a conversation about them. So they drew on Tuesday night. So
I was so hoping that Bromley were going to win, but unfortunately
no.
But they drew, so
1
point apiece, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, I think Michael Cheek scored for
Michael
Bromley.
Who?
Michael Cheek.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, you heard.
Oh.
Yeah, he played in the Wembley game. Yeah, he was there last season. Yeah, decent player as well. But anyway, no. So they drew on Tuesday, so that cut the gap to 1 point for us,
which is great.
So with Notts County, do they worry you? I keep asking if you're worried. You worried? You're all right. Do they worry you as a team?
No,
not really. How do you think the season is going to pan out when it comes to Notts County?
I reckon.
Yeah.
They are gonna just get work. I don't know. I just think they're gonna go down the table a little bit. I'm not. I'm joking. I reckon we're gonna go top.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're already starting to slip.
One game,
doesn't matter.
Okay,
they are already
saying.
Considering that I think the game that they played before that was when they played Wealdstone and they won
6-1. Yeah, they did.
So it's like from going from 6 goals to just 1.
Yeah,
it's kind of like are they going? They're going to go down basically, aren't they?
Do you think? I know it's very early in the season. Do you think it's a 2-horse race already, or do you think there's a lot more twists and turns on the way?
I think it's one of them, and it's not. It's never guaranteed.
No, do you think there's a long way to go yet?
There is a long way to go, but I do have every faith in Wrexham, and I do think once we get to the top,
we're not going to.
But the way the guys are playing at the moment is just immense, and I just think if they keep at it, then I think we can get to the top and stick at the top.
Okay, stick at the top.
Stick at the top.
No, I think I think me personally, I think it is a 2-horse race, even though it's early. I think these are the two teams that are going to be up there towards the end. I think a few old heads are a little bit worried about the Fleetwood season. So we got 98 points that season. Fleetwood got 104, I think, or 102 or something like that. So it was a 2-horse race all season, and we lost out by a few points. We were top for most of the season. It's a long time ago.
I was going to say, when was this?
Jamie Vardy was playing for Fleetwood that season, so that tells you how long ago that was.
Yeah.
But I think people are drawing a few similarities between this season and that season, and it's a little bit of a concern for some people. This is
the problem.
Yes.
Like you said, old heads,
yes,
or whatever, they are continually looking back. Why do people keep looking back? That season's been and gone now. Like last season, we were second. It's gone. Forget about it.
Yeah.
We've got to concentrate on this season, getting back to the top, smashing Notts County off the top, and...
I'm going to stop you. Maybe in 5 years, when we're still doing the podcast, and you're referring back to stuff from this season, maybe I'll remind you of this moment. When I'll go, do you remember when you said this?
Yes, but the only reason I'll be talking about this season
is because it's the promotion season.
It's because it's the promotion season.
We'll see.
And we've done amazingly.
We'll see. So they've only lost once this season, Notts County. I think they've drawn 4. The game they lost was against Dorking, strangely, away. So we beat them 5-0 away. They lost to Dorking. Now, if my memory serves me correct, they had 2 players sent off in that game, which is why they sort of struggled a little bit. They went down to 9 men. But that's the only game they've lost. They lost that 3-1. Everything else they've won, and I think they've drawn 4, including the one on Tuesday night. They've scored 45, which is 2 less than us.
Okay.
They've conceded 15, which is also 2 less than us. So we've scored 47 and conceded 17. So defensively, they're 2 goals better, and scoring wise, they're 2 goals worse off. But to be honest, they're pretty much neck and neck. The two sort of records are quite similar. They've obviously got Langstaff, who is the league top scorer by quite some considerable distance at the moment. They've also got. So he's definitely one to look out for, but there's a few rumours that some teams higher up the league are looking at him at the moment, which would be quite nice. But to be fair, they're getting goals all over the pitch at the moment. It's not just Langstaff. They are spreading the goals around. They've got Rodriguez in midfield as well, who's an excellent player, I have to say. So it'd be lovely if they sold them too in January. That would be very nice. But it's one of them, really. We don't play them until the 10th of April, which is the 3rd to last.
Oh, that's 2 days after Bryce Hannah's birthday.
Wow.
Hannah? I know.
How do you know that? That's sad. That is.
Why is that sad?
It's a little bit stalkerish.
Well, it's Paul Mullen's birthday today, so...
Yeah, yes, it is. And he celebrated well.
Yeah.
With 2 goals, didn't he? So, so I don't know. For me, I think it's very much a 2-horse race. It may well change, but we'll have to see how it pans out, I think.
They're going to lose their winning streak at some point.
Yeah, I would say so. They're definitely they're gonna start slipping up. I've sort of mentioned this before. Their defence plays quite a high line, and because they play quite high up, they're quite easy to get in behind. But teams don't really exploit that at the moment. And I think if teams start doing their homework, you might see them dropping a few more points. But we'll wait and see. That's a little bit about Notts County. Let's not worry too much about that.
No.
So the Oldham game today.
Oh my God.
So
again, I was very vocal and singing and all this.
Yeah, it was a good game though, wasn't it?
It was a good game. Do you know what? Luke Young was my man of the match today again.
Yeah.
And Alfie said, when I said that, Alfie was like, "Oh, he's always your man of the match." And I'm like, well, today he played exceptionally well, but they all did, to be fair.
They did. I thought it was an excellent performance. Like we said, it's the 3rd clean sheet in a row which is brilliant. Luke Young was excellent, I think, today.
Third clean sheet.
Third clean
Oh,
sheet
yeah,
in a
sorry.
row.
Yeah.
Luke Young was excellent. I think the Tunnicliffe was very good again today. Do you think Tozer plays better with Tunnicliffe at the side? I think I asked you this last week. Don't have to answer that if we've already talked about this.
I don't know.
He just seems more settled. He seems more settled as...
Who was... Oh, it's Max... Is Max Cleave? Yeah.
I just think...
Maybe that's just an age thing, I don't know.
It might be, and I just think they look... As a back line, they look a lot more settled. I think...
Yeah.
Hopefully, Anthony Ford went off injured.
He did. Oh, I'm hoping that's just a little twinge.
He
walked off okay.
He walked off okay, so fingers crossed for that one. I think he should be okay, but he was excellent before he went off. But Bryce came on.
Oh, he was amazing.
He was brilliant today, wasn't he?
Absolutely immense.
I haven't. We've come straight from the game. To sort of straight into doing the podcast. Sorry, but I'd be quite interested to watch. Sort of we're going to watch the whole game back, I think.
Yes.
Because that little mazy run that he went on, it looked like a penalty to me.
Yeah.
And it very much did, and he didn't give anything, the ref, but. The ref was all right today, but it was a few dodgy decisions late on, a lot of shirt pulling, and it was one of them, really. But...
I have a question about referees.
Okay,
so Oldham, obviously English.
Yes.
Wrexham, obviously Welsh.
Correct.
So, to have an impartial referee, does he have to be Irish or Scottish?
No. Well,
I just think that's wrong.
No, because...
I always thought that was the rule. They have to be... impartial, and
they have to be impartial, but
they're not though.
Yeah, but ultimately you're going to struggle getting a Scottish referee. You're going to struggle getting a Scottish referee down all the time, or an Irish referee over for every week, aren't you? No, it doesn't really work like that. They're obviously assessed, aren't they, on their impartiality, just to make sure that they're... You
can lie through your teeth if you want to be a referee, and you can lie and say, I'm totally impartial.
Yeah, but they would be judged on that, wouldn't they? They get judged on that. So no is the answer to your question.
I think there's something dodgy going on there.
So let's move on. Predictions. We did a little prediction before the game.
Oh, sorry, you wanted a high five?
No, I was just putting my hand up. We did a little prediction before the game.
We did, on the way.
On the way there, and you put it out on our social media.
Yes.
What did you say again?
You know full well what I said, Ryan.
What was it? Just remind me.
2-0.
You said 2-0. What was it I said?
3-0.
I said 3-0.
Alfie said 6-2.
He did, and my dad said 2-1. So I've got another one right. I'm cooking on gas at the moment with these predictions.
Oh, yeah.
I am. But yeah.
You're on it like a car bonnet.
I am. I'm loving it at the moment. So, as we mentioned before, Langton and Lennon were on the bench today.
They were.
We didn't see either of them
during
the game. But I think it's very positive news that they're on the bench.
Kai Evans.
We did see Kai Evans.
Little Kai Evans. He's very little.
He did make a comment about how small he is. But I mean, if you look at Elliot Lee, I mean, he's not the tallest man, is he? And I like Kai Evans. He didn't really get too involved. He chased a few balls down. Did well with what he did when he came on.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really that much for him to do, was there? He didn't have a lot of time to sort of get involved really with the game. But it's nice to see him getting first team minutes, I think, for me.
Is that the first time he's played? Yeah. I know he played obviously did he play in Nantwich?
He did play in Nantwich. Yeah,
I think was a friendly, wasn't it? Obviously.
Yeah, that is definitely. Yeah, I think it is his first team appearance. I'm not 100% sure, but I think.
Well done for your first appearance. You were pretty good.
Yeah, you did well.
More to come.
Just to talk about it, do you think size is a big thing in football?
I'm glad you said it.
Wow. I mean, come on, professionalism. Do you think the height of a player is important?
It can be.
Yes.
Because we were discussing, like, obviously Palmer was on the bench, wasn't he?
Yes,
he
was.
He wasn't in the startup team. And
startup team?
Oh, I don't know what you call it.
Starting lineup?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the starting lineup.
Yeah.
But you mentioned an Oldham player. What was his name? Fondop.
Yeah.
He wasn't playing today.
No.
So that because obviously they are similar heights.
Yeah, but they play at opposite ends of the pitch, though.
Oh.
You're going to make a point that they were cancelling each other. No, they're both strikers.
Oh.
So basically, you've got Ollie Palmer, who would be marked by the defence down one end of the pitch, and then you've got Fondop. So his Fondop's matchup is like Tunnicliffe, Tozer, or Hayden. So that's so neither of the two big strikers were on.
But I do think size does matter.
Do you?
I do, in every sense of the word.
So, but you've got to see. It's an awkward one because you're always going to get certain small players that do definitely break the mold, and you'll get
Elliot Lee for one.
Yeah, you'll get professional players who will have been told you are too small, and but ultimately have come through and they're professional footballers and they're excellent at what they do. One that I mentioned to you during the game was Joe Sabara. Now, Joe Sabara plays for Solihull Moors.
Yes, you did mention that, yeah.
Now, Joe Sabara is an excellent footballer. We were linked with him in the close season about potentially buying him. How true that actually was, or whether that was just a fan wish list of who they would like, I don't know. I don't know if we made any attempt to try and get him. But he is tiny. He is literally about...
is he my mum tiny?
He's small.
Smaller than my mum?
No, I'm not saying he's smaller than your mum, but...
my mum's 5 foot nothing.
Yes, he is very small. I mean, when you see him, we're playing Solihull on Boxing Day.
Can't wait.
We're hoping to then go to the away game as long as we can get tickets, which is on the 2nd of January. You'll see him. And when you see him, you'll understand what I mean, because he is tiny. He is really small.
What's his name?
Joe Sabara.
Little tiny Bara.
Sabara?
No. I'm changing his name.
Excellent player. He scored, I think, 3 times against us last season. So regardless of height, I think, I just think a lot of players... The only thing that worries you with small players, for me, I think it's how are you going to compete in the air?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
How are you going to... But you've got other players around you which do that for you, So it's...
But I think it can matter. I mean, it's not the be-all and end-all.
No.
But I think size can matter.
Yes, it can do, and it depends on the situation. It does, considering how many set pieces we play and stuff like that. But he would be the sort of player that would sit on the edge of the box. So for any knockdowns, any second balls, he's there. Which is sort of what Elliot Lee does. He's not jumping up there with with Hayden and people like that trying to get his head on the end of it at the header, because he's not going to win it. There's no chance. I mean, there's some absolute giant defenders in this league, so he's not going to do it. So he sits off and he sits on the edge, and that's the sort of position. How did we get onto this? I don't know. We were talking about Kai Evans, how small he is. That was it. I don't know how small he is. I don't know if he is that small, but anyway,
he looked it.
Yeah. Before the game, something we're going to have to touch on. But we
do we have to really give him airtime?
I don't know. We're going to have to mention it, aren't we? So, Oldham owner Frank Rothwell.
Mr. Frank
Rothwell, yeah. Rothwell. He made some comments, didn't he, in an interview about basically saying, I've got no idea who Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds are. I've never seen anything they've been in. Some of the girls might be all like, woo, over them. I think that was the actual thing.
That was the actual, yeah.
And then, basically it was a case of, I don't really care about them. What they've done is they bought a club as cheap as possible, so they can say to all their mates in Hollywood, I own the club. So, Ryan and Rob very nicely did a video back going, you might not know who we are,
but we know who you
are. And if you haven't seen the video, you've got to dig it out. It's out there on Twitter. So if you go to Ryan Reynolds' Twitter account, you will find it. Or Rob's. Rob posted it as well. You'll be able to see the video. It's very funny.
It is funny.
Why do you think? Because he seems like a decent guy. He does a lot for charity.
Yeah.
Frank Rothwell. He's the oldest man to ever row across the Atlantic.
Oh, was that true? Was it?
That's a fact. That is as well. So, it's just, why do you think? Why? Why make these comments? Because he hasn't gone out of his way to make the comments. He's been asked a question in an interview, hasn't he? Just to make that point there. But why would you? Why would you do it?
Just, like I put in my post on Twitter, I just think there is a slight tinge of sour grapes.
Yes.
Because we get a lot of publicity,
yes.
don't we, as a team,
yeah, we do.
And all this kind of stuff. And I think a lot of teams have just got a bit of sour grapes, and it's like they don't.
Yeah, do you know what I think it might be? It could be because it's quite hard to work out the tone of things sometimes, isn't it?
If you're reading it, definitely.
Because I reckon a lot of owners and opposition managers are getting sick of being asked about the Hollywood ownership of another team in their league.
It's inevitably going to be a question, though, isn't it?
It is, and I think a lot of the time people are just going, "Oh, I'm sick of this. Just let's talk about the football." Or let's talk
I can get that.
And I do understand that, but that's not down to Ryan and Rob, is it?
No.
And that's also not down to the owners of the other team. It's down to the people doing the interviews who are just trying to. I always see it as poking the bear a little bit.
Yeah.
You're going, come on, let's get a reaction. Let's get a reaction out of you and let's try and stir something up between the clubs, which didn't really need to be stirred up. Do you know what I mean? So
sorry, I just did a little yawn then.
Wow.
Not because you're talking.
Anyway.
Scunthorpe.
So, yes. So
Can I talk about Scunthorpe?
Tell me about Scunthorpe.
So the game was originally on the 8th of November.
Yes.
But it has now moved to November the 9th, which is next Wednesday.
Yes.
I believe that's because it's been televised.
No. So
what's the reason for it being moved? I can't remember.
I'll be honest with you, I haven't got a clue.
Oh.
Because originally it was for the Tuesday and it was going to be televised. It was going to be on BT Sport. A couple of friends of ours in America were saying they were very excited about watching the game. And I said, actually, it's been moved back 24 hours. Along with 2 other games in the National League as well. But as a result of it getting moved back 24 hours, it is no longer being televised. So just for everyone in America, or in this country actually as well, if you were expecting to watch the Scunthorpe game on BT Sport or on whatever it was in America, if you could get BT Sport with your VPN, it's not going to be televised anymore. So that one isn't.
You can listen to it, obviously, but
yeah, you'll be able to listen to it. So that game has now been swapped with the York game on December the 3rd. So everyone will be able to watch Wrexham live. It just won't be on Wednesday night when they play Scunthorpe. It will now be 3.5 weeks later when we play York on the 3rd of December. So
let me have a little chat about Scunthorpe.
Yes.
So they're currently 20th.
Yeah.
Last season they were relegated from League 2.
They were indeed.
I was searching. I was going, why we haven't played them?
Yeah.
That's because
they weren't in our league.
No. Their top scorer from last season was Miles Hippolyte.
Hippolyte.
Was
it?
I don't know. That's what it said on Transfer Market.
Transfer Market. Sure, I thought Hippolyte played for Stockport.
He does brother. Now, I think.
Does
No.
No.
I don't know.
Maybe it's his brother.
Maybe.
Okay. Let's move on, just in case that's not factually correct.
Do you know what? I might have got these the wrong way around. And then this season, I've got Joe Nuttall.
Yeah.
And I think he can't be Stockport if he's. Oh, do you know what? I've looked it up again.
This is brilliant. Do you know what? I don't think it would work, this podcast, if you got everything right. Just a couple of bits now and again would be great.
So maybe
let's not worry about who scores goals for them. Tell me something different about Scunthorpe. Where's Scunthorpe?
I don't know.
Right.
I've got some results here.
Okay. So
the last few results.
Just losing listeners left, right, and centre. Going, what is this crap?
Yeah. So last season, last season. See, you've just got me all in a tiz now.
Go on.
Last few results for the National League. Yeah. So they played Eastleigh most recently.
Yeah, lost 2-0.
Yes, thank you. And then they played away to Barnet and they drew 1-1.
Okay.
And then they played Gateshead at home and they won 3-1.
Okay.
So, lost, draw, win.
Do you know what? Do you know what, Scunthorpe? 10 years ago,
Do you know what, Scunthorpe?
No, Scunthorpe. 10 years ago, they were in the Championship. And they were a decent team. They had Billy Sharp playing for them.
Oh yeah, Billy.
Yeah, all right. Okay, you don't know who Billy Sharp is, but anyway, and they were up there, and they've just gone into free fall. They're absolute free fall. And I mean, in 10 years, they've gone Championship, League One, League Two, non-league. And they're struggling in this league.
Now they're in the 5th tier.
They'll do well to stay in this league with some of their form this season. They're very much on the brink of administration as well.
Oh, really?
At the moment, yeah, 100%. Their club is in an absolute mess. An absolute mess. And I know their opponents, but I don't like to see clubs going out of business, and have to fight their way back. But they are in absolute free fall at the moment. And it was one team coming down last season that I was not worried about, but I was a little bit, need to keep an eye on them because, to any team coming down from the league, you just keep an eye out. As it turns out,
they're 20th. But like you said, it's early in the season, so
I just think they need some.
Are they going to get a few more points up, or are they going to just?
I don't think
down?
So. I think they need major revamping and overhauling. They're just in an absolute mess.
They need a Ryan and Rob, don't they?
They do. So predictions.
Oh, predictions. Right, 3-0.
3-0. I'm going to go for 2-0. A nice reserved 2-0. Another clean sheet, I think, for me.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm happy with that one. So Wealdstone on Saturday.
12th of November.
Yes.
Away again.
They're
currently 13th.
Yes.
Last season they finished 16th.
Yeah, so they're that sort of area of the table. They were flying this season. They were top for a little bit.
They were flying.
They were ahead, but they were top for a little bit, and then they think they lost 5 in a row. So yeah, they're sort of where they expect them to be.
So
really.
Their top scorer from last season, I don't know. Even you couldn't find it.
No, I did. I had a quick look. I couldn't.
But the top scorer for this season is Reece Brown.
Reece Brown, yes.
You told me that, so if that's wrong.
No, it is Reece Brown.
On your head.
It is Reece Brown. So, I know it's Reece Brown. Yeah.
Last season when we played them at home, we drew 0-0.
Yeah.
So
I remember that game. It was dull.
And then when we played them away, we won 2-1.
You did, I think.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the strange one, Wealdstone. Like I say, they had some really good form at the start of the season. They've really dipped at the moment, but they're 13th. You said, didn't you? And they finished last season 16th.
Yep.
That's where you would sort of expect. A couple of years ago, so in 2020, they won the national. They were champions of National League South.
Okay.
So they've made that step up now into this league, and I think when you go up a league, sometimes it can take a few years to sort of find your feet.
Yeah.
I don't think they've got.
I mean, it's taken us 50.
I just don't think you've. No, what I mean is a small club, which they are, and they've come up.
Yeah.
They're a lovely club, though, to be honest, because. When we had Wembley, for example, they put food on for us at the club. They said people can park here, you can come and buy food. So they're a really nice club, and they've been, nice to us over the, over the last couple of years. So I'd never have anything bad to say about Wealdstone, but we are going to hammer them. I think.
We're going to smash you.
I'm going to go for 4-0.
Okay, have I done a prediction?
No.
I'm going to go. What did you say?
4-0.
I'm going to go 5-0 then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You always got one either side of me. It's wow.
Would you want me to say 4-0 as well?
No.
I mean, what's fun in that?
There is no fun.
So anyway, last few results for the National League for Wealdstone.
Yeah.
So they've just recently played away to Altrincham.
Yeah.
And they won.
Oh, yeah.
1-0.
I think that was the game that broke their losing streak. I think.
Did it?
Yeah.
And then before that, they played away again, Dagenham and Redbridge, and they lost 4-1.
Yeah.
Quite a loss there.
Yeah.
And the good old Notts County
beat them 6-1. Yeah. So they have got battered a few times this season, but I think, as I said, the game they beat Altrincham. I think that was the end of their losing streak. I think they'd lost like 5 in a row. But I fancy us putting a few past them. But as long as the team that turned up today are the teams that go out.
To be fair, though, the team that turned up today,
yes,
it was pretty on par with what turned up on Tuesday.
It was definitely. I think we're playing some really nice, slick football at the moment, and we just need to push on with that. And it's a good opportunity, I think, for us, because we've got 2 away games. Notts County have also got 2 away games. Now we've got Scunthorpe and Wealdstone, which I quite fancy getting some full points out of that. Notts County are playing Southend. That's a tough game away. We only managed to draw there, and I think Southend have definitely got better in the last few weeks.
We played in September, did we?
Yes, yeah. But Southend are definitely coming into the fold at the moment. They're in the.
We've got a Southend United supporter in our work.
We have indeed.
We have,
yes. And then they're away to Eastleigh. Now we know what Eastleigh are like.
Time wasters.
But the ball will only be on the pitch for about 28 minutes in the full night. They'll
be boshing all over the place.
So I think they've got 2 difficult games there, Notts County. So it might be an opportunity for us to overtake and maybe cement our place at the top of the league. But it would be lovely. So fingers crossed for them too. A few other people have got in touch this week. We had Drew, who sent us an email. Now we mentioned Drew before on the podcast. Now Drew is currently travelling. He's Canadian. He was in Spain. He was the guy that I spoke about that had been to the Nou Camp to watch Barcelona play.
Yep.
He has just bought some tickets for the Bromley game, which is obviously now going to get postponed.
Yeah.
So he knew this anyway.
He did.
What he said was, I'm going to buy tickets for the Bromley game, and then if the game's called off because of we get through in the FA Cup, then I will try and buy some tickets for the FA Cup.
Fingers crossed for you, Drew.
Yeah, fingers crossed for you, Drew, that you can get some tickets. He's become a member, and like we said, we're planning on meeting up with him if he would like us to show him around a little bit and have a drink. We just like going for a drink with people, don't we?
Well, you do.
I do, yeah. Love it. Anyone else got in touch?
That sounded really bad.
What?
You like going for a drink with people. No, I like meeting the people. I just don't know it is what I meant. Yeah.
So, anyone else got in touch this week?
When we were at the game on Tuesday.
Yes.
We met Jennifer.
Yes, we did.
And her husband.
Yes,
I'm really sorry, I can't remember what his name was. I think it's Glenn. I'm so sorry, Jennifer. Oh my God, I feel really bad.
Don't say sorry to Jennifer. You remembered her name. You just didn't remember her husband's name.
So they came up to us while we were eating our burger on the burger
outside
bar,
the turf. Yeah,
outside the turf, and they said, "Oh, we've seen you. We're coming up to say hello," and it was really, really nice to meet them.
Yes, it was.
And Roger. Have I mentioned Roger before?
Yes, I think we have mentioned Roger once before.
Yes, but he messaged on Tuesday when we were at the game.
Yeah.
When it had finished, actually, saying that he'll take that. It was 1-0, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I can't remember, but he was like, "Yeah, I'll take that."
You seem all of a fluster.
I am. I think it's the adrenaline from the game. I think I'm just like.
Yes. Yeah.
I haven't even taken my shoes off since we got home. I'm just like.
No, I know. It's just one of them. Straight into it, isn't it?
Straight into it.
But it's really nice for everyone to keep getting in touch. As I say, we can't mention everybody.
We try to reply to everybody.
We definitely try to reply to everyone that we can.
Yeah.
But obviously we can't sort of mention everybody on the podcast. But we try. So we try very much to. Oh, just to mention as well, that ties very nicely in. Somebody else who came up to us to talk this week was Steve. Steve runs Dragon Chat. And he came up and we had a conversation for about 5-10 minutes, didn't we? Came up, it was really nice to see him. And if anybody who's sort of watching or listening to this doesn't know what Dragon Chat is, it's basically a peer support mental health group for men to go on it's weekly, so it's every Thursday. And it's a Zoom call. You go on and you have a little bit of a chat. I mention it every week, and it's a really important service. So it's run by the club, and anybody can just go on, dial in. If you're struggling, you can have a little bit of a chat with people. They talk about the football. They talk about sort of mental health a little bit as well. You can contribute as much or as little as you want. You can go on every week, every 2 weeks. You can just go on when you feel like you need it. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant service. As always, if you're watching on YouTube, the details are down in the description of how to get on that call. If you're not watching this on YouTube, then please go onto YouTube and subscribe and like the video anyway. If you're just listening to the podcast. If you are listening to the podcast, if you don't mind dropping us a little review and sort of scoring the podcast, that would be brilliant as well. But as I say, if you're not on watching us on YouTube, if you go onto Facebook, the Wrexham AFC Facebook page on a Thursday, usually about 6:30, they post all the details of how to get on that call anyway. So, you know, it's for anyone, and I would highly recommend that anybody who feels like they need it goes on that, because it's brilliant. And
also, whilst we were talking to Steve, Elaine, who we've met before, came up to us and told us that I think she'd watched the YouTube channel, the episode 14, and mentioned about, because we were asking about where we look for all the reserves information. And we know where to find that now. So thank you very much for that, Elaine.
Thank you very much. Although I will say this, the club are still quite poor with posting information on there. There's a section on there that's like that it's live, a live section. I clicked on it when the reserves were playing their last game. There was zero information on there. There was no match report that come out after. So I think there's definitely a lot more that they could be posting.
Yeah, because it'd be good to follow them.
It would 100%, especially because, you know, the players who play for the reserves are the lads that we're watching on a Saturday. They're either coming back from injury or, you know, it's good to keep up to date with what they're doing. You know what time it is? It's that time. It's not home time just yet.
What was that?
It's quiz time.
Yay.
We're going to carry on with the same format.
Good, because I like that format.
We're going to do multiple choice.
Good.
We're also going to do is, what I might start doing this over a few weeks. We're going to start revisiting some old quizzes that we've done to see if you've actually drawn some information from them previous quizzes and retained it. Retained it in the little noggin.
No.
The little tiny noggin that you have.
Excuse me.
I didn't say you got a small brain, you just got a small head.
Apparently so. So my son keeps saying anyway.
Anyway, what we're going to do this week, we're going to go back to, I don't know what week it was. We're going to go back to squad numbers.
Okay, I'm quite good at this.
Yeah?
Yep.
You're happy with this one, yeah?
Bring it on.
What would you like? Would you like me to tell you the player and give you 3 options of numbers? Or do you want me to give you the number and 3 options of players? I'll do it either way for you.
The name, and I'll give you the number.
So you want 3 options of numbers. That's what you want. You want me to tell you the player and then give you 3 options of numbers. That's what you want.
What would make me look more intelligent?
Getting them right would make you look more intelligent.
Okay, yeah, do the one that I said.
So you want me to tell you the name and I'll give you 3 numbers as an option.
What happens if I know the number before you give me options? Will I get
Shout it out.
Right, okay.
Shout it out. Just stop me in my tracks.
Let's go.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
Mark Howard. Is he... You're not shouting this one, are you? Is he number 1, number 13, or number 21? Now, I'll be honest with you, they're our goalkeepers' numbers. So 1, 13, or 21. Which one are you going to go for?
1.
No, Rob Langton's 1. So Mark Howard is 21.
Oh, that would be my second option.
Would it? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You automatically assume that the goalkeeper's number 1.
Well, one of them is.
Yeah, but you know. Okay.
Ben Tozer.
Ben Tozer is number 4.
Oh, straight in there. Bonus point. No, I'm joking. 1. So that's 1. Okay.
Yes.
Bryce Hosanna.
Options.
Is Bryce Hosanna 17, 27, or 37? Ooh. Have I caught you out with this one?
Read the options again.
I can't remember what it said. I do. 17.
Have you not got it written down?
No.
Oh.
17, 27, or 37.
27.
Wrong. 17.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Okay. Well, you didn't know.
No, I know.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not doing great.
You're not doing great. No, I'll be honest with you. Okay, well, let's go for Mr. Jordan Tunnicliffe. Is Jordan Tunnicliffe number 5, number 6, or number 16? Oh, you're struggling. Why are you struggling?
Say the first one again.
5, 6, or 16?
16.
No, it's number 6.
Oh, I was going to say 6.
Well, you didn't know, did
you? No, I know. But, you know, hindsight and all that.
Hindsight and all that. So what's that? How many have you got? You got 1 out of 3. So this is number 4. Okay, number 4. You ready?
No.
James Jones.
30.
Yes. Well done. Excellent. Excellent work. Okay.
Are you counting on your fingers?
Yeah, I'm counting on my fingers so I don't forget. This is your last one. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Sam Dalby, who scored today. Excellent, excellent little follow-in.
There's been a lot of confusion about that, you know. People think that Paul Mullen scored a hat-trick today.
Yeah, he didn't know,
No,
did he?
I thought he scored a hat-trick
Yeah,
today.
no, you did, but he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Okay, Sam Dalby, 18, 19, or 28?
18.
Well done. I would say that's full-on success for you this week. That's 3 out of 5.
It's not full-on success because it'd be
From
5
from
out
where
of 5.
you've been, we'll call this a win for you. I would say you've got more than half of them right, haven't you? Yeah, that's well done.
Yeah. So thanks for watching episode 15. We shall see you next time on episode 16. So yeah, we'll see you
well
then.
done. Well done for that.
Great maths.
16 comes after the 15. Well done. All right, thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.